to you live from the Allentown Police Podcast Studio, and I want to say welcome. It's been a little bit since we've done a live on the podcast. The community has been a little busy. There's been different events, but I wanted to touch base with you and just reconnect and to say thank you. Good morning, and we are on the start of a very hot week, right? With Tuesday today beginning with temperatures spiking to 3-digit numbers. That's what they're calling for. But I want to bring to your attention that the city of Allentown is doing a lot to bring some cooling during this time. There's various cooling stations out there. There's water curtains that are going to be put out at the various parks. And you can find all that information on our City of Allentown main page, and that's going to be on the social media. So you can take a look and see if, the pools are free for Allentown residents, depending upon first come, first serve, I believe it is. So check that out. Make sure that you stay cool, you beat the heat, right? And stay hydrated. That's a key part. And also check on your neighbors. It's important that we have a caring and compassionate response to those that are out there, especially the elderly, young people, and those that are infirm, and especially your pets. Be mindful of making sure that you bring your children in from locked vehicles, and also your pets. We don't want to have to bust windows open to remove children or pets to do that. So please be aware of that. Watch out for your neighbors, watch out for yourself, and just a gentle reminder of that type of thing. But I want to say good morning. Welcome to everybody that's coming in here today. Thank you for joining our podcast. I'm here with Detective Garcia. Good morning, Detective Garcia.
Good morning, Chief. Thank you again, to everybody tuning in. This is a live feed, so we're working on, whatever the feed is giving us. So if it's a little sketchy in the beginning, we apologize, but thank you to everybody that's tuning in. And it's going to talk about some wonderful stuff in the community today.
Absolutely. And having said that, just be mindful of that heat. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and, check in on your neighbor. That's probably a good mantra for this week. And, with the heat, sometimes people go a little bit slowly, so you want to keep that into your thing. Don't let that heat get into a situation where it gets your behavior out of whack, because we want to make sure that you're safe and the people in our community are safe. And I want to say congratulations to the new police officers that we have that just graduated the police academy. It was an excellent time for sure. We have 6 officers that are now going to begin their field training process, and we're going to be out on the road. So you're going to see them out and about throughout the city, answering calls for service, going to different events, and to also address quality of life crimes, speeding complaints, that type of thing. Because I hear you loud and clear, community. I know that there's a lot going on and a lot of issues, but I want to ask you a favor. I want you to reach out to your legislature and ask them to allow municipal police departments to use radar. Pennsylvania is probably one of the only states in the nation that don't get to use radar. Why? I don't know. Some of the thoughts and things that were said to me was that it could be used as a money-making thing, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to slow people down and to make sure that we keep our communities safe. And just like the state police can utilize radar, and they've been a big help and a boon to us on various operations that we're working together, that radar is something that a municipal police officer properly trained in the hands of an experienced officer can bring the number of crashes down, bring the number of people that think it's okay to speed in the city to think again, because that's not okay. It's not okay to speed through the city. It's not okay to blow a stop sign or to have a red light. And especially read those signs, because they will keep you safe, or the lights that are there. And if there's any issues, as police officers, we go around, we drive, and we see different things. So if there's lights that are on flash or something of that nature, we'll check on that and make sure that that's functioning properly. But we also rely on our community to be good stewards of the road. And as the road, it's something that you have a driver's license to operate that vehicle. So there's certain laws and rules that you do have to follow while on the road. And pedestrians as well. Make sure that you're properly entering the pedestrian crosswalk, and you're able to do so. That way cars will have to yield to you, but we want to make sure that people are safe. And I want to say thank you to Janet for hopping on here. Good morning, Janet. Very good to see you. Always an unwavering supporter of the Allentown Police Department. And I want to say again, it's been a busy few months. Through January through June, we've been doing a lot of different things, and I believe we have some crime stats that we're going to show to you guys. We've been taking a lot of guns off the street. We've been holding a lot of people accountable, and it's from the good work of the men and women of the Allentown Police Department, and also good information received through our community, either through our tip 411 or through calls that we get, or through actual witness testimony that we receive on scene from individuals. And it's absolutely important that, we have the capability to continue to do this type of work. We don't police in a vacuum. I'm going to make that very clear. One of the things that I talked about when I became chief was breaking down silos. And we want to make sure that we're kind of talking with our community, making sure that we're doing what we need to do. And I know some people don't like when the police are around, but that's okay. We will still serve you with full professionalism, with full efficiency, and we're going to attempt to solve your problem the best that we can. And if not, we're going to get you some help and get you to where you need to be as far as those issues. But with the crime stat, overall, we have a drop in property crime of 15.6%. Proactive patrols are up. We have 137 firearms seized or recovered through May. 36,232 calls for service from year to date from January to July. So our men and women are out there. They're answering the different calls. They're going to, answering noise complaints, answering domestics, answering all the different ones. And all the meanwhile, it's about building relationships, right? We're not robots. We can communicate. We can interact. Sometimes we disagree on different things, but at the end of the day, we can talk and communicate. And we want to make sure that you're involved in this too. As a community member, you have an absolute right to communicate with us and to see what's happening. And there's some exciting technology improvements that we've had throughout the time. I think you've seen our flock safety release that we've had a little bit ago. Flock safety is being utilized very efficiently. It's our network of license plate readers, cameras that we have throughout the city, also our gunshot detection. And one of the things with that is that the technology helps us, and the technology by itself is not what the key is. The key is utilizing that technology with our officers and putting it in the right hands of our detectives. And it was instrumental in helping to solve some of the recent crime that had happened in the city. And it gives a lot of investigative leads. So if you're traveling within the city, if you see something, please, the point is to report it and to say it. Technology is great, but if technology isn't used, it serves no purpose, right? But the key thing of this is for us, utilizing and enhancing our technology is only one aspect of the job. It has to still come down to that police officer, that man or woman who is stepping into the role and wearing the badge and doing the right thing for the community. And we have to be able to do that so that there is still a job to do, right? And at the end of the day, the priority of the job is law enforcement. It's to make sure that the rules are being followed. And, I've seen some assertions that for some reason the Allentown Police Department has been directed or told not to enforce certain crimes. That's hogwash. We will enforce the law, and that's all types of crimes, from speeding to conducting illegal operations of any type of venue. We want to be able to be responsive, and part of that is holding people accountable. And sometimes those folks who are held accountable don't want to hear it and don't enjoy it. But I'll tell you, we operate under the Constitution, the rules and laws of Pennsylvania, and the city ordinances of the city of Allentown. And we're absolutely going to and are making efforts to do that. I talked a little about earlier about our joint operations with the Pennsylvania State Police. And although that isn't new, what's new now is that the focus of it is to build relationships amongst the troopers and the officers as law enforcement partners so that information can be shared, not necessarily in a formal way where we have to meet, but amongst the officers to create that brotherhood, that sisterhood of partners where if something is happening in a community, we can share information with our brother and sister troopers. And they work very hard for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, including the city of Allentown and other jurisdictions. And our officers are very engaged with them. As I said before, with our speed timing operations where radar is utilized, or, if there's a contingent of officers that we're working special operations out there looking for street level crime. It's all about making sure that the residents of the city know that we're there for them. For those who are choosing to do crime, I would suggest that you go somewhere else and not in the city of Allentown, because you will be held accountable and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. One of the key things here is that prosecution of cases is through the district attorney of Lehigh County, and I want to thank Gavin Hollahan for all his support during his time as the DA here. What helps us as well is the grants and the various monies that we are investing into the benefit of the police department, which ultimately results in a safer community. And I think one of the bottom line things with that is that we have legislators that are putting forth efforts to make sure that Allentown Police Department is receiving grants. And I want to thank those legislators who are doing that on the federal and the state level to improve many of the things that a modern police department should have as a natural course of doing business. And I want to thank our community especially for providing information, for being there, for being present. And it's something that we want to be able to have throughout the time. with that, I want to thank our detectives. I want to thank our patrol officers. I want to thank our community outreach unit officers. I want to thank our support staff. Everybody has their job to do in the police department, and it's kind of like going on a boat and a ship, if you will, and everybody has their job. And as they're doing their job, we're making our community safer, and we invite our community to be part of that through interactions with our community outreach unit or with the officers on the street. If you see them on a walk and patrol, or if they're out there doing enforcement, say hello. If they don't have time because they're tied up with something, that's okay, but they're going to know that you're there. We always keep an eye out for our community, for our people in need, and we want to make sure that that's happening. There's been a couple different arrests made over the past few months. There's been different things that have been going on, and I want to be thankful to the detectives that work hard here and there, and to the officers that respond to that initial scene for making sure that that scene is locked down and that we're able to get the evidence that we need in order to process that case and to bring a person to justice that committed that particular crime. As far as another piece that police are engaged in is our community engagement piece. And with that, it's very vital because, yes, you can enforce the law, but you also have to work to build relationships with our community. It's not independent of each other, but it's together. And I will always advocate for the unity part of it. It's not a separation. Regardless if the person likes Chief Roca or doesn't like Chief Roca, I'm going to be there for you, and I'm going to make sure that you're somebody that's heard. And we give voice to the voiceless, and we want to be able to make sure that we're considerate of all the people here in our great city. And the city of Allentown, it's a passion of mine, and it's always been home, and it's always been something that we each, as a responsible citizen, have a duty and a role to make sure that we keep our community clean, safe, and healthy, and that we make sure that we watch out for our neighbors. It's not about getting the paid part of it. It's about just being a decent human. It's about making sure that you are living your best life here and achieving the things that you can achieve. So with the community engagement piece, I really want to draw attention and thank Officer Jackie Murray for her wonderful Leukemia Lymphoma Society campaign that she did. Many people were aware of it. We posted on our social media, and that as she gathered and gained a substantial amount, several thousands of dollars for that society. So thank you, Officer Murray, for your hard work and your dedication. You're somebody that goes above and beyond. And when we think about a community police officer, typically you think of Jackie Murray. She's out there. She knows our community. She knows folks that are out there. She has a good way of speaking to people and, always showing that respect. And so from the Allentown Police Department administration, we want to say thank you for all that you do within our community and without. So May 8th was also Bike Safety Month, and we want to be sure that, folks understand that, bikes are part of our navigable ways to go around the city. And in some parts, you have the little bicycle that's painted down on the roadway. Motor vehicles, please make sure that you're giving them some space so that the bicycles can come through. And then recently, I know the mayor went along on a bike ride with several teenagers talking about the importance of bike riding and that type of thing. So thank you to Mayor Turk and to those that participated in that bike ride. Again, it's about safety. It's about doing a fun activity. It's about making sure that we as a community are able to come through and come together so that for the most part, it's something that's positive for us. And young people doing productive things like going on a good bike ride and being able to have fun is great. It's, I think the 20th of June is the first official day of summer, and it's certainly starting off with a very hot heat wave, so in that time, getting that exercise and doing that stuff is very good for us as a community. On May 12th, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Being a parent, being somebody that's in charge of young people, of kids, it's a lot of work. I think of my mom, and I know all the sacrifices and the effort that she made to get me to where I am today, because we don't do our job alone, right? There's a lot of times where we have to be able to, communicate, and our mother kind of serves as a foundation of somebody that we can go to get advice, get information, and have that. And as part of that community effort, we know and understand and appreciate all the mothers that are working jobs, that are at home, that are doing different things. You are appreciated. You are worthy. Don't let anybody take away from you. You're a powerful source of inspiration for many. So from the bottom of my heart, a blessed and happy Mother's Day from that time. Continue to do it. It's not just one day, but it's every day. Appreciation for your parent, for your mom, your dad. It's something that is absolutely beneficial. So, and those that step into those roles, guardians, thank you. Our young people need guidance. Our young people need a good home. Our young people need a place to be able to feel safe. And that's something that, regardless of what community you live in, that is positive, and that's something that is going to continue as we move forward. National Police Week, that was on May 16th. We want to remember those officers who paid the ultimate sacrifice and who passed away, either on the job or otherwise. We very much look out at that week, and like I see in the media and everything, giving thanks to the police officers. But again, it's like Mother's Day. We want to show appreciation to not only our police, but all the first responders that are out there that do a phenomenal job. And it kind of want to talk a little bit about one of our police officers, Sergeant Hendricks, who experienced a medical episode, and our community stepped in and provided overwhelming support. And I want to acknowledge the officers that that gave emergency first aid right then and there, to include CPR to an officer that was experiencing that. And thank you to the staff of the St. Luke's Hospital for assisting in the recovery and going well. Sergeant Hendricks is recovering, and we thank you for your effort, your time. Our prayers and thoughts are with you. To Sergeant Hendricks and his family, you're very much appreciated. You're missed. We know that we love having you at work. I know that you love being at work, but don't lose faith. Recover. We want you 100%. We want you to be resting. And to the community that provided their support and their outreach for us, thank you. Thank you for doing what you do and having the ability to come forth and helping one of our brothers in law enforcement to do that. And for the departments that reached out and that provided, thanks or support, thank you for that. It means a lot coming from you guys. And, we can't do this job alone, and we experience a lot of different things that we see throughout time. So it's key for us to acknowledge that, to thank all our officers involved. And for those that got awards and things like that from the police commendation ceremony, I always say that's a byproduct of good police work. We don't enter this job to get awards or recognition, but we enter it because we're good, decent human beings, and we want to be able to help our community. And a byproduct of being a good officer is those awards and different things like that. So to those who achieved commendations for meritorious acts or anything of that nature, congratulations. Keep up the good work. And for those that didn't, understand that every day is an action that is positive, that can impact our community. I always say every day, what did you do to earn your badge today? So let's earn our badge today and continue doing the work that we know we can do. So thank you to everybody involved for that. On May 16th, I want to draw attention and thank the Trexler Estates neighborhood for lunch that they provided to our department. Thank you very much. Every year, they're unwavering in their support when they reach out and provide us with a lunch for the police week. We appreciate that. We thank you. We received all the cards, the letters. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, and thank you for always being there for us. And it's key that we want to acknowledge everybody that supports us. And relating to the commendation ceremony, I just want to point out, too, that thank you to all the civilians that are involved that make our mission that much better, from providing donations for our automatic external defibrillators, or AEDs, to providing monetary donations to our K9 unit or Honor Guard. I'll talk a little bit about the Honor Guard and say thank you to those. We acknowledge them during the ceremony, and I'm very thankful for their service during funerals, during different events that we have. Most recently for our flag raising, our flag day that we did for raising the most best flag in the world, which is the United States of America flag. It's something that we raised high and mighty and let that flag soar throughout. America is the best country. I'm very fortunate and blessed that my parents chose to come here and embrace that American dream. And I think we can all think about, what does that mean? What is that American dream? And that's what you can accomplish with when you put in hard work and you put in and you sacrifice. And I know that my parents sacrificed a lot to come to this country, but they also gained a lot. They embraced the American culture. We embraced the diversity of this community, and we wanted to be a part of it. And I'm so thankful for my parents for instilling those values in me, and understand that in myself and in the department, you have an advocate of safety for for our community, and we want to make sure that everybody is recognized and that we have the ability to go forward together, and that's the key thing, going forward together. May 17th was Bike to Work Day, and many of the officers and community members and several people throughout were able to go ahead and do that. And that is a key thing that happened, because we want to be able to make sure that, for the most part, that there's alternative ways of transportation. And riding a bike is a good way to get around. I remember before I had my driver's license, I would get around in different places by my bicycle, and I would ride throughout the community and, go visit different places, go to the store, do different things of that nature. And and it's a quick mode of transportation, but I also want to emphasize the safety factor of it. Wear your helmet, wear elbow pads, knee pads if you need to. You never know where you might hit a spill, and that will reduce the injuries that happen. On my computer, the podcast is being a little slow, but I see Luis Acevedo checking in. Good morning, Luis. Thank you for stopping in today. Always an advocate of our South Side. Congratulations on your son for graduating. I know he's looking forward to the Marine Corps. So, I wish him the best. When he goes to boot camp and he gets it done, I imagine he's going to Paris Island. So my best to him. He'll be in my prayers to make sure that he's safe, and that all the military folks that are out there doing their thing. Thank you for your service to our great country, and for recognizing that through service it makes our communities that much better. And you always have that acknowledgement. And thank you, sir, for stopping in today virtually. We want to also draw attention to and congratulate one of our PAL mentors, Destiny, for graduating LTRI-C with an associate's. And she's now going to head to Kutztown University to major in criminal justice. And as far as criminal justice as a degree, Destiny, I look forward to, hopefully you decide to work at the Allentown Police Department and we can have you on the job here. Obviously, you have to go through the testing process because we want good people. We want people that are engaged, energetic, and somebody that cares about the community, because those pieces together and also holding people accountable are going to make our community better. And it might take some time to get there, but understand that these 4 years or this time that you're going to go to college and finish out for your bachelor's, it's going to be very challenging at times, but know that it's going to shape you, right? You're going to have a lot of papers, you're going to have a lot of different things that you're going to do, and enjoy the experience. It's also part of growing, and all of us are maturing. You think about right now, we're entering almost the first day of summer, and there's a lot going on, and we want to be able to have that community feel here in our city. And I think that's what does happen, but we never want to lose sight of continuing to improve yourself through education, through experiences, through what it doesn't have to be formal education for folks out there. You can read a self-help book, you can go to the library, you can figure out a whole new world out there by just studying, and that's something that's key. And so congratulations, Destiny, on a job well done. Congratulations on the graduation, and then on your way to Kutztown University. That's great. We can't wait to see, what your future holds. And I want to congratulate also our Safety Patrol awardees who, from the Allentown School District. Being a Safety Patrol is a sign of a future leader, somebody that cares about not only about themselves but about others, making sure that our students, teachers, and adults are crossing the street properly and on the crosswalk, and making sure that they're safe. And wearing the sash of the School Safety Patrol is a big responsibility. And we thank you for your service to our schools during those times, before school, after school, and then just being a leader and an example for your fellow students and somebody that's a good student. So for those who were awarded, congratulations. For those young people who are thinking about getting involved, I encourage it. Get involved, see about the path to become a Safety Patrol officer, and do your part for the betterment of the school community. On May 22nd of this past month, we went on a trip to Harrisburg. We went to the Capitol because we were recognized for our PAL program on the House floor, and we want to thank Representative Josh Siegel for making that happen and to bring us over there. We took a bus, went down with several PAL kids, and also Sergeant Leonard and the community team, to be able to go down there and say hello, and just be acknowledged on the floor. There were other schools and places or groups that were there as well, and we want to wish them congratulations for what they did. I believe there was an ice hockey team from a high school that won the PIAA championship. So congratulations to them. I apologize, I don't remember the name, but they were also recognized on the floor. And there was a couple of schools from different communities that were there from the Philadelphia area. So congratulations on being acknowledged, and thank you to our legislators for taking the time to acknowledge the work done by our young people here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and specifically in the city of Allentown, because they do a lot, and sometimes it does feel thankless, but our kids are our future, and the more that we support them, the better outcomes we're going to have. Both Detective Garcia and I are products of the Allentown School District, and we very much appreciate the mentors and the people that cared for our development, and we continue to pass that tradition on through our children, but also to our larger community, and for those that are looking and seeking for the proper way to put out your creative energies, because our young people do have creative energies. It just needs to be challenged and focused in a good direction. So thank you for all those involved in that, and thank you again to Representative Josh Siegel for that. On the 27th, we had a happy Memorial Day for everyone. We want to be thankful for all the sacrifices there, and to remember also. And those key things are important for us as a community, because we want to be sure to never forget, and so that we'll always remember and provide that piece of remembrance for all. On the 29th, we received a $900,000 grant from our federal partners, and we were able to hold a press conference with it, and it's going to provide for some technology improvements here in the police department. As I said in the beginning of this, technology is always changing, and I even talked about the change of the efficiency of technology. And I relayed, when we had that press event, about my experience getting my first computer. And that was through Radio Shack. I got a Tandy 1000 TL2, which if I tried to use that now, it'd be very outdated, and it'd probably have lag. And I don't know if it would even absorb the internet, because I don't think it had a modem per se, if I recall correctly. But ultimately, the point is not about the memory, but about the advances in technology and how fast it goes. But it's important to know that we're going to do so safely with our community in mind, and to make sure that it's something that as we utilize our technology, it goes into the right hands, so that we're able to make our community that much safer, and bring resolutions to our any instances that happen out there, any incidents, things of that nature. On the 29th, the traffic unit and the state police, they conducted a speed enforcement operation, and that is something that you're going to see throughout the time, because for some reason, I think people think that it's okay to go through stop signs, red lights, drive erratically. It's really not. You're going to be held accountable. Just like we, for major crimes, find that person, hold them accountable, you are going to be held accountable. You are going to receive a citation. You are going to be pulled over. You are going to be asked for your license, registration, and insurance. You are going to be explained what the violation is for, and it's going to note on the citation exactly what happened. And you will have 10 days to respond to that citation, pleading guilty or pleading not guilty, at which point a hearing will be scheduled, and you'll appear in front of the magistrate for that. If not, then you pay the ticket and cease that behavior. We very much want to have the city of Allentown be a safe community, and with that, that also becomes important as we consider going forward in our efforts to make this a safer community, and to make sure that we slow down. It does take conscious effort, because you can put up signs, you can put up lights, you can all do this, but it comes down to personal accountability, personal responsibility. So I'm looking to you, to my community, to ensure that you have that in your mindset when you're out there driving. We can control how we react and what we do, but we can't control what others do. But if they don't do it within the law, they will be held accountable. A subject stop will take place. A vehicle stop will take place, and the appropriate enforcement action will be taken. My expectation is that if a person is driving erratically, playing loud music, doing different things like that, yes, our officers do have discretion, but there is sweep tickets that we can issue. There's DCR reports, disruptive conduct reports that we do. I sit on the city disruptive conduct board, and we hear appeals if individuals take that to the process. And one of the things that's key is that you can't disturb your neighbors. Even though it's the summertime or you're off, always be cognizant that the actions that you take and make impact the people around you. And if you're putting out good energy, more than likely it's going to be good energy. But it's something that it's disruptive, disturbance, behavior, you're going to be getting a visit from the Allentown Police Department for noise complaints or something like that, or a disturbance. And we want to make sure that our community is safe. The key thing is communicate, be peaceful. Make sure that if you're thinking that it's okay to drink alcohol out in the public, it's really not. Like on the sidewalk, you're going to get cited. If you're gathering out front because it's Saturday night and you want to party, but you don't consider that your friend is, or your roommate or another tenant in the building has to get up and work early morning, you will be cited and you could possibly receive a DCR. So don't let your behavior be an excuse for you to get in trouble. Think about it. I know that everybody out there has a mind. You can kind of hear what's going on. You can see what's going on. The key thing is to make sure that you follow the rules, follow the laws. And if you do that, you're not going to have any issues. You're not going to have to worry about getting stopped. You're not going to have to worry about getting a citation. You're going to be able to move forward and do those things without interruption. And that's the key thing. Like, we want to make sure that our people are safe and that, our community is that much better. But it takes folks that understand to be kind to each other and to have that ability to keep it moving forward. But if you're not doing that, if you're choosing to do and engage in things that are violating the crime, you're going to get our attention. And I'm not going to hear excuses of, well, you should focus on more serious crime or more important things. It's also the little things that add up, and we want to make sure of that. Which brings me to our creeks, our parks, and things of that nature. And it's the hot weather coming, and I know that people are thinking that, hey, it's okay to go in the streams, lakes, or rivers that are out there. It's not. There's portions of our waterways that aren't lifeguarded. They have strong currents. They might not look like it, but just like the Jordan Creek, which you look at it and you say, oh, that's a small creek. It does have some very powerful water pressure, water currents that will drown you. And I don't want to see you, your family, your kid impacted by that. The other thing too is that as a city, the city is taking steps to address this heat situation right now. Like I said before, there's cooling stations, there's water curtains that are being put up at different parks. So look at the social media for the city of Allentown, and it has a nice little post there about the times and the places that's functioning. We want you to stay cool. We want you to drink fluids, hydrate, water, Gatorade, whatever keeps you cool, right? And make sure that you have the ability to know and seek help if you're feeling flush, if you just exercise and you're kind of feeling dizzy. Make sure you go see a doctor. Our paramedics will be out there, our police officers will be out there, our firefighters will be out there, and you can do your part by following the rules, checking in on your neighbors and friends and family. We want everybody to be safe, including our police officers. Let me check in here. I think my chat finally caught up. Ruby Smith, good morning. How are you? Thank you for checking in. I thank you for the kind words. She says, love what you are doing for our city. Positive feedback is always nice to hear. And, we want to make sure that regardless, even if it's negative feedback, send it through. We want to address things and correct things that may be happening. And one of the things that I know that I've been addressing and looking to address, obviously, is our quality of life crimes. And we want to be sure that in each instance that the community knows that we're in this together. But I look also to those who are engaged in that activity and to tell them to stop, to tell them that you are going to be held accountable. You're going to get that citation. You're going to get that DCR. And is it worth it for that to happen for a moment's party, right? You don't want to do that. If it's done within the context of, a gathering where it's at a reasonable level, you're not going to have any issue. But if it's something that's causing a disturbance where the police get involved and get called, we are going to determine the course of action as the officer gets there, and they have that discretion to do that. And so my suggestion is, if you're going to have some sort of gathering, be a neighborly thing and talk to your neighbors and say, listen, I'm looking to have a gathering. I'm not going to be loud. I'm not, a lot of things, a lot of problems can be reduced through communication. So make those efforts, make those times where we can go ahead and talk and, be neighborly to each other. That's how you learn who's near you and the type of of communication that you're going to have with your neighbors. That's important, right? And then that way, you get to that's what builds a community, right? It's not just everybody closed off from each other, but rather people are communicating and solving issues before they get to the point where the police are contacted and, we have to come and then we're going to tell you what course of action you're going to take. And you may or may not like that, but that's going to be the outcome. So for that purpose, thank you for those folks that are there. Congratulations also to the Powell Middle School basketball camp. A lot of good work done there. Thank you for our Powell officers involved in that, for refereeing, for coaching, for being engaged, and for also the school district in that aspect. It's always key to be involved and to take part, because I will tell you, time goes so fast. You take a look around, and for those parents that have young children, it's only a few years that they're home, and then they're out in college, and then they're growing up, and we want to be able to have those good memories as a father or mother or what have you, a guardian. We want to be able to have those times and engage. So be there for your kids. Be there for for their activities. If you can't because you're working, I get that. We all have time, but it does go very, very quick. I reflect on my own personal things, and I'm always surprised with how quickly that time goes, but I'm very thankful for experiencing those moments. And as police officers, many times we're not able to attend some of the events because we're engaged with work or we're doing things, and sometimes we spend more time with the people we work with than with our families, and that can have an effect on some folks. But understand that we make this commitment to be police officers, to keep our community safe, and regardless of whatever, we are going to do the job. We are going to enforce the law, which is the primary thing, but we're also going to build relationships, and those two things working together are going to get us to come together and be that future. Upcoming community events. We have a bunch of community events coming up this week. As the mayor said in the beginning of June, we're celebrating Juneteenth throughout the whole month, and there's various events throughout the community. Keep an eye on the City of Allentown website for the dates and times on that. I think some of the times were moved because of the heat that was coming up. So to get the accurate and full times, I would send you there. Our 4th of July celebration at J. Bernie Crum, I believe that's going to be coming down the line, so take a look at that. My good friend and colleague, Assistant Chief Jim Gress, putting together the Classics and Cruisers in downtown Allentown. Always a good event put forth where you can see a lot of classic cars and different vehicles that are out there. It's always good to see what comes out, different types of trucks. I'm very impressed with how the folks keep those cars up and do that. But that's going to be in August in downtown Allentown. A fishing and fun event at the Lehigh Parkway in September. We have the Hollow Weekend in October. National Night Out is going to be on Tuesday, August 6th. That's a big one. I want to plug that for a little bit. Our National Night Out, if you've never been, please put that in your calendar. Mark it down. It's going to be at 5 p.m. at Cedar Beach Park. We're going to have various community vendors. I understand that the National Guard will be there with their rock wall. So if you're interested in climbing a little bit and talking to the National Guard, they're going to be there, and we thank them for being present. At our event, and community vendors that will be there as well as will community groups. So come get to know what's around your neighborhood, so that our network of people grow, that we're able to kind of put a face to a name. And I encourage you to come. I'll shake your hand, say hello, we'll have a conversation, and you'll get to meet a lot of the good officers that are out here and work in our community. And it's something that, it's a night out with the police, and, you're going to have us right there, kind of communicating. We're going to have the fire department and various other events that are going to be like the vehicles from the fire department, EMS, and various vehicles from the police department. So young kids can go kind of look at them, climb in, check it out, ask questions. It kind of reminds me of like what we had at Franklin Park recently, where we had a touch truck, and I never observed one of those water trucks with the lines, but they had set it up, and there was a little robot in the back that they're able to remotely control to see what's going on. So these are things that are awakening, like, what's out there, what type of equipment is being used in the different societies out there, or different organizations. And I think it's good that we do that, so our young people can kind of see that and maybe have like an inkling as to, hey, I want to do that when I grow up. And if we can encourage more young people to become first responders or to work in organizations that are service oriented, I think that's really going to pick up our community and drive that factor a little bit better. Let me see here. From John McDonald, how about speed bumps on Linden, Shoe, and Walnut? So speed bumps is always a topic, and we're talking about calming measures for different areas relating to speed. I'm in favor of different things if it's studied and looked at appropriately of those calming measures. Speed bumps do serve a purpose in different times, but they also present different issues. Some speed bumps do have an effect on the plowing and tows and also on undercarriage for fire and police vehicles, EMS, because of the nature of the humps. But there's also other things that can be done. You can talk about traffic circles, which reduces speed, which reduces different things with angles where people are going into it. Last year at this time I was in Ireland, and in many of the roads that were the modern roads, that is, they have a lot of different circles and mechanisms that seems to me to be effective in reducing speed. A lot of that too, John, is also personal accountability and responsibility of that driver. And we want to be able to conduct traffic enforcement operations throughout the summer to do that, to encourage people to follow what the speed limit says, because if they're going above it, they certainly should be cited and ticketed for that. So those are key things, but that's an important step to consider as we're moving around and navigating that part of it. And so thank you for that question. And then as we go forward for the event for August 6th, the National Night Out, if you have time, come out. I welcome you. We want to see you there. We want to hear from you, right? You might have a good idea that we might not have thought of, believe it or not, but you might have one. And then we're gonna take that idea, and I'll gladly give you credit. This isn't about Charlie Roca. This is about our community. This is about the Allentown Police Department. This is about how can we work best together, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make the decisions that are going to benefit the entire department, not just myself. It's going to be about what can we do to engage our community? What can we do to grow relationships? And ultimately, the key thing, which we are going to be doing, and we have been doing, is enforcing the law. We are the Allentown Police Department, and we are empowered to enforce that law, and that's what's going to happen. And people are being held accountable for the various things that they're choosing to do their own. And again, it's about that personal responsibility portion. If a person makes an error, it's not the end of the world, but they're going to be accountable for that error, and that's the key thing there. And remember, we're going to do that and hold all folks accountable, and that's going to be something that is important to for our community to understand and to know. Also at the same time, there's a bike registration thing that we have in the city, and a lot of it is sent for making sure that if somebody takes your bike or something like that, we'll have that serial number, the description of the bike, your contact information on file, so we can kind of take a look at that. And so we'll have some registrations available if you are interested, the photograph of the bike, that type of thing. And in the past, we have little decals that you can put on your bike that'll have a unique serial number for your bike there. When in the 80s, long ago, when I lived on the south side in Westbrook Park, the Allentown Police Department had a bike registration event, and I believe they held it at South Mountain, if my memory serves correct. I had to have been like 10 years old, so it would have been 1985. Around there, and I registered my bike. We did a little course. We had some handout materials that they gave us, but I had a blue sticker that I stuck on my Huffy, and I went there, and I heard a laugh from Detective Garcia, and he could comment on that. But the key thing is the bike was pretty cool, because then you learned about the importance of road safety when you're riding on the bike, and the key thing is about having that important memory, right? And from when you're young, being able to do that. And I know that I want to say Detective Garcia is a very avid biker. So if you can kind of provide kind of some tips for our people that are young people or older people that ride bikes throughout the city, because I think it's important that folks understand that although it's a bicycle, it still has to abide by the rules of the road.
Absolutely, Chief. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. So we're a little bit behind on our Wi-Fi. Just real quick, On our end, we might be a little bit back on our Wi-Fi, so we're still recording this. Just so everybody knows, we're recording this podcast. We always have a backup plan just in case there's any issues. But to get back on topic, yes, I am an avid cyclist. I love it. It's something fantastic to do, to get away sometimes and find some peace while you're riding. However, I always have a red light, a blinking light on the back of my bike. I always wear my helmet. I don't wear headphones, anything like that, any type of AirPods, anything that will not let you hear a car coming. So, we are transitioning over to a cycling city. So, there's a lot of talk and even the county and our area. There's Ironton Trail, there's DNL Trail. You can see some of our parts of our roads are marked with cycling. So just on both ends, Chief, as we always know, it's common sense, right? If you see a cyclist, it's the law. You have to be so many feet away from that cyclist as you pass them. My recommendation to drivers is to slow down. Know that cyclist is supposed to be on that road. Obviously, if they're wearing a helmet, they have a light, they're following the rules, they're stopping at the stop signs, they're stopping at the red lights, things like that. But it's your duty as a driver to safely navigate that cyclist, and you're helping that cyclist out. He might even wave at you and thank you, thank you for slowing down and slowing the people behind you down so they know that there is a cyclist there. Obviously, if you are a cyclist, by all means, stop at the stop signs, stop at those lights, and you have a responsibility as well. So, but always, I go to the schools, Chief, all the time, and I tell the kids, if you have a helmet, please wear your helmet. We've had some instances that where folks were riding their bikes out in the city and they were involved in a tragic incident and they weren't wearing a helmet and things like that. So, by all means, bring your bike. National Night Out. We're going to take pictures. We're going to register your bike. I would love to see your bike. So if you're a young person and you have a parent, bring your bike, man. We're going to take pictures of it. That way you don't have to worry about, I don't know where the serial number is. God forbid something happens to your bike. We have all that on file. Thank you.
Thank you, Detective Garcia. And riding bikes is a great thing. But even if it's walking, if it's running, whatever activity you like to do that's healthy, it's cool. Keep with it. Sometimes cross train. Sometimes you get run. Sometimes you get bike. But keep it up. And it's good to see our young people not just necessarily on the phone playing some sort of app game. So that's the key thing too, is getting that fresh air and being out. Because in the 80s. It was in the backyards until mom called for dinner or something of that nature. But and then we also took our bikes in many parts throughout South Allentown, at least me and my cousins, and before they lived near across from South Mountain, so they had the big parking lot there by what used to be Trobs, and we would spend many summer nights there riding our bikes around because it was a big open parking lot and there wasn't really any traffic there. But for the most part, we want to be good stewards of our community. And, part of that is that communication piece. And there's going to be many community meetings that are out there. And just as an aside from that, if you want to get involved, that would be a good place to start too, is one of the many community meetings that are out there throughout the various parts of the city of Allentown. Become involved, make sure that you go. They're usually scheduled in the evening. Some are virtual, some are in person. Most are in person, but if you don't know, please reach out to us and we'll be glad to show you where they're at and let you know where they're at, because there's many good people that are out there interacting with the communities. We go to the monthly community meetings and provide a crime update of what's happening in that specific neighborhood. We also provide different outlets of information that are there. We have a very robust community intervention specialist program that we conduct in conjunction with Pinebrook Family Answers to assist our people that are mental health consumers, or also with treatment trends for their certified recovery specialist, so that if you are battling addiction, having issues, we would much rather you get help than to manifest criminal activity through that to try to feed that addiction and go forward. So there's help out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Don't be bashful. I'm not going to judge you. We're here to make sure that we as a police department are forward, that we're making sure that we're holding people accountable as is the laws, but also having that compassion. And marrying those two is what effective policing is about, and making sure that we're all part of that equation. When you ask about what is the answer, yes, more police officers, technology, equipment of that nature and focus on enforcement is a good thing, but also at the same time, having that community feedback, having the people involved, having our young people also look to move forward with their life in healthy activities, such as what we talked about: bicycling, running, walking, being engaged in positive things that many of the schools have through sports and basketball, baseball, bowling. Even I was part of a bowling league back in the day. Not very good, but it was still enjoyable to play, and that's something that is key. If you have any questions regarding the Community Outreach Unit, do not hesitate to reach out to them. Their phone number is 610-437-7741. You can ask for Sergeant Williams or Sergeant Leonard or Captain Conjure, who is the commander of the unit. There's crime prevention flyers out there. We put our 9 p.m. initiative is still out there, so I know we say this before, but keep an eye out. If you watch in your neighborhood and you see something, report it, either through our Tip 411 or call our communications center at 610-437-7751, or if it's an emergency, of course, 911, because we want to be there, and we're more than likely have an officer in the general area to respond to that. Detective Garcia, can you kind of give them a reminder about what the crime prevention initiative is regarding the 9 p.m. initiative and how effective it has been?
Absolutely, Chief. So like we do, we either post it on our stories, we'll post it on our Twitter, just a 9 p.m. Sometimes it might be something funny to catch your eye. If you see something from the 80s or, Back to the Future, as if, wish you were in a Back to the Future car, wish it was 9 p.m. again because you didn't lock the door and maybe you left something valuable in the car, or, didn't lock a door. So it's just a reminder to get in these type of routines, to not get complacent. And to, just give us a call if you see anything. Maybe you might see something suspicious in the neighborhood, a suspicious vehicle. We don't have an issue coming out and checking it out, being proactive about it. But, Chief, I did want to mention, since we are lagging a little bit, the community meetings. I did try to pop them up here. Just a couple of them here. I know the Chief normally does it when he pops them up, but it's the 1st and the 6th Ward is June 6th. Rob Area Group will be June 6th. Franklin Park will be June 19th. Community meeting, Muhlenberg area is June 19th. And then the City Hall at the Table at the Civics Theater will be June 25th. So again, you can check out the city's Facebook, and you'll be able to see all the community meetings that are there as well. But the 9 p.m. routine, along with other initiatives, are extremely important so we can be proactive rather than reactive.
Correct. Thank you. And that goes to, it is hot out there, right? From Tuesday to about Friday, they're calling for a heat wave. I want to emphasize, check out each other, right? Check in with neighbors, check in with family and friends, make sure that everybody's safe. Obviously, hydrate yourselves. The city is doing a lot to cool down the neighborhood. Please stay out of the waters. It's important that you don't subject yourself to being drowned. That's my biggest thing, and I want to make sure that you are safe. Also, if you're grilling, cooking, please attend to your fires. We don't want to see any fires. So from my friend Chief Augusto, we want to make sure that we reduce any potential for fires from happening. Fireworks, same thing. You can't light fireworks within vicinities of homes. That's another thing we're going to be watching out for. And the upcoming July 4th holiday weekend, we are going to be hiring overtime. We're going to have officers out there. So be sure that you're following the rules during those times, because you will be held accountable. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. We're here for you. Follow us on our social media, our LinkedIn page. Connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It's at Allentown Police. We're here for you. And we're here to be the advocate for our community. Know that with sincerity, we want to see you be successful. We're doing it together. We're going to step together, and we're going to move forward. Thank you, everybody. Have a great and pleasant Tuesday. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Blessings.